and you know, she's a, you know, a big horse, and she's really talented, so keeping her together isn't like, you know, a huge deal. But like when you make that transition, I thought you did a good job with that. You can just kind of think a little bit like you're gonna sit for a couple strides, just so that you kind of make sure that you're getting the hind legs coming along with you. And there, when she gets a little floaty in the rein, that's where you're gonna run into maybe sometimes a little bit of trouble. You know, just think a little bit, almost again with your seat, like almost like you're gonna go to sitting, and just give her a little, like a little tiny bump with the leg, just to, you know, you don't wanna squeeze a lot or push her out of her own balance, but, you know, you definitely need to have a little steadier contact. And the thing is, and let's go back to walk, because one of the things is if she comes up and then the contact goes away, and then you take it, that's gonna be a little bit more bothersome to her than if she came up and she came into your contact. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, you know, when you lose the contact like that, you know, it might not even be a bad idea, especially if you're getting to know her here, to go back to walk. Like, this is a good contact. You know, and ask yourself, can I, you know, what happens if I touch the rein? Does she keep going into it? You should be able to touch the rein. You know, if I, you know, just straighten her a little on the outside rein, or if I put my leg on and I hold the rein a little bit, does she step up into it, or does she, you know, what does she do?
Okay.
You know, she steps more up into it. She might need a couple more encouragements, but like kind of bump her a little bit up exactly into that contact. Because when she gets a little long and wandery in the connection, you know, she's not gonna like it when you take it back. You know what I mean? Whereas if you start here and around the turn in front of us is where she got long and wandery, you know, if you keep the contact a little bit and you kind of bump her a little bit to it, she's probably gonna be happier about that.
Okay.
So
especially when she's distracted. I think today is more like distractions, like right here.
Yeah. Which just means you need to focus more on
when I get by the doors.
On getting her through. You know, on getting her through, because it's less about don't look at that, or you know, don't whatever. And it's more about like, hey, pay attention to me, and I've got you, girl. You know. Yep. And think like you're gonna sit the first couple strides, and actually do sit the first couple strides. Yep. Just so that she doesn't get to leave her butt behind. There. Yep. That's it. And think about keeping, particularly that right connection. Yep, keep that right connection. Exactly. If she puts her head up, yep, you're just gonna keep it a little bit. Yep. There you go. Good job. And that when if at any point she feels behind you, it's more about pushing her up to the connection or bumping her up to the connection. You probably don't need a ton of push, but like a little bump up to the connection there. And it's not so much about sending her forward. I mean, she'll go more forward when she gets up to the connection. Yep.
No.
You have to be a little bit more planning with that turn. You know, and yeah, keep the contact a little bit exactly on the outside. Yep. And just tickle a little with the lip. Keep the right. Keep the right. And tickle a little if you need it. It's tempting to kind of just push, but you know, take your push away and tickle her a little, because she probably doesn't like it when you push all the time.
No.
You know, don't be afraid to like tickle her a little with the whip, or you know, hold her a little through that outside right. Exactly.
Warm up. You know, I feel like right there.
Yep.
The corners. She's sucking back a little bit.
Yep. So if you push more when she's sucking back, she's probably not gonna in the long run help you. It might get you through the corner, but you know, let her leg down and tickle her a little, and hold the outside ring. Yep, tickle her a little. Tick. Hold the outside ring. Yep. There you go. Yep. Tick. Yep. Also prepare yourself for the corners. You know,
Okay.
Get her a little bit active to the corner. Yep. Keep that right connection. Keep that right connection. Yep. Keep that right connection. I don't mind. Yep. I think it's really important that you just keep that contact. Yep. Good job. Well done. Yep. Well done. Like you're gonna turn right. There you go. Good girl. Good girl. And tie her through left. Okay, come, tick, tick. Yep, it was a bad moment for me to say Tanner.
I know, kind
Then you didn't, so it's fine, it's fine.
I think you wanted to cat it.
No, but you know, it's a good way to release on the inside sometimes. Like when you acted like you're gonna turn her to the right, she got a little taller from her left shoulder, and you know, sometimes it's a good way to give that. And you're doing a great job with your contact now. You're doing a really good job with that. And just think about, you know, really she just needs to be a little quicker behind. She doesn't need to cover a lot more ground, but you know, you want to make your aids quicker than her. Like a little bump bump, yep, little tick tick, little bump bump. That's it. Good job. Yep. Yep, that's it. And then we'll change direction. That's it. Yep. Steady, steady on that right side. There you go. Have you, do you have a side that's easier for you?
In the warm-up, it seems like it's left.
Okay. Yep. And that's probably just because it's easier to keep the contact even. On this direction, she'll get a little bit against that outside rein, and she'll get a little bit dropping that inside rein. But this still looks pretty good. Yeah, you just have to keep working on getting your aids a little quicker than her, and experiment with a couple things. Like what happens if you and some of my ideas might not be right, but just experiment. What happens if I sit for a couple strides? You know, if I sit for a couple strides and I bump her up in front of me, you know, because, yep, and then rise again. Yeah, and that might not be a good idea because she slowed down a little bit.
Yeah.
But, you know, in the end of the day, the reason that I suggested that was because, you know, she needs to be a little bit more in front of your seat, and sometimes when your seat is present, you know. But if that's not going to be helpful, you certainly don't have to do that.
See, this direction at the beginning, she's like,
Yeah.
sticky.
And how about if we go to canter on the earlier side? Is that helpful?
I haven't tried it, but I
Okay.
will.
Why don't you go the other direction to start the canter, and then let's do a canter. Yep, hop, hop, exactly.
Nope.
Yep. And now here's where we have to be very careful not to pump the seat. Yeah, very, very careful of that, because that'll shut her down big time. You know, I think one thing for sure is it doesn't look like an emergency. She's not stopping with a lot of attitude. You know, really work on keeping, and just seeing that walk bit makes me wonder if in your trot here, you could be a little looser with your seat. You know what I mean? And that might be something she's very sensitive to. Yep. Yep. A little bit rounder on that outside. I might go next time around straight down the long side because it looks like she could use a little straightening on that outside rein. There you go. You go straight down the long side, almost as if you were going to turn right. Yep. And keep the right. Keep the right. Yep. Keep the right. See how she bounces away from it. Yeah, you got to get her a little rounder over there. Yeah. Keep believing in it, because if she gets too wandery, yes, in the contact, she's not going to want to go forward. Yeah. Now take the right, take the right, take the right. Yeah, hold it a little. Hold it a little. There you go. And hold it a little. Yeah, it still isn't steady. Yeah, keep your right hand right and hold it a little. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You go ahead in the trot. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me even if that was your transition or if it was hers. It's good. Yep. Yep. And this one of the reasons why this side might be a little bit easier for you too, is that you have to build a little bit of connection in the outside, which is going to make her feel a little less trapped, whereas the other side, she may feel a little bit more trapped because she braces on the outside ring. So, do you want to take a little break before we do the right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And you tell me, Whitney, if